Okay everyone, here's a video you didn't ask for, but also maybe didn't know you needed. I'm going to take a few minutes to go through some potentially useless reading jargon and teach you some of these phrases. So let's go. A TBR stands for to be read and is usually used by readers to create a list of books they're planning on reading. But let's be honest, they never actually get to reading. A TBR can be a digital list on something like Goodreads or an actual physical stack of books you keep at home and try to read from. DNF means did not finish and refers to a book you started reading but didn't finish. This is usually reserved for books you didn't enjoy rather than books you forgot about. Who does that? DNF is something a lot of readers try to do, but again, let's be honest, we all feel bad about not finishing books. A wrap-up is a term mostly used on social media to showcase the book you read in a week, month, or set period of time. Readers on YouTube will commonly make wrap-up videos to talk about all the books they read recently. It's also quite common on Instagram and TikTok. But let's be honest, readers who aren't posting their reading habits on social media don't do this at all. A readathon is where a group of people, mostly online these days, get together to read over a set period of time. There are usually some guidelines involved, but the general idea is to read as much as you can with company in some shape or form. Check out my readathon video for a more detailed explanation. A reading sprint is a reading technique where you read in bursts or short periods of time. These bursts can add up to span hours, but they tend to be short with breaks in between. They are sometimes used in combination with readathons, depending on if you find the technique useful to help you read more. Check out my reading sprint video for a more detailed explanation. A buddy read is where you arrange to read the same book at the same time as someone else, almost like a book club for two. You can either set specific time frames to get certain pages and discuss, or discuss at your own pace. I'm doing my first buddy read this month and it's a lot of fun. A book stack or reading stack is either a physical TBR or to be read list, where the reader will literally stack the books they want to read and have them on display. Or it's a stack of books arranged in an aesthetically pleasing way, usually so they can take a photo and stick it on Instagram or something. For an aesthetic stack, you can stack books with similar colours, have the titles create sentences, theme them for certain time of the year, and more. Bookstagram is not a book version of Instagram, it's just the name for the book community on Instagram. People on Bookstagram post photographs and videos of the books they're reading and share reviews, thoughts, and general book stuff on the platform with each other. It's a very supportive and friendly community, if I do say so myself. BookTok is essentially the same as Bookstagram, but on TikTok. BookTube is again the same, but on YouTube. Booktubers will tend to post videos containing what they've been reading, buying, reviews, and more. And on that note, a book haul is usually a piece of social media content where a person will show off the books they've bought recently, usually in video format. The books don't have to be brand new, they can be second-hand, which I personally enjoy. A book box is a subscription box that contains, at a minimum, a book, but also usually contains book memorabilia, notes from the author, other household items, and sometimes snacks. Common book box companies include FairyLoot and Illumicrate, but you can also find lots of indie book boxes too, a lot of which are excellent. Blind date with a book is a book you can buy that's usually wrapped in brown paper. You buy the book without knowing what it is. Usually there are some clues written on the brown paper so you can at least have control over the genre or general theme, but for the most part you have no idea. You can usually buy books like this from your local bookstore or from sellers on Etsy. A shelfie is a photograph of a bookshelf. These are usually very aesthetically pleasing and posted on social media sites like Instagram, but of course they can just be a shelf in a cupboard. A shelfie is a shelfie. MC is the main character in the story. When writing reviews, reviewers will sometimes talk about the main character but use MC as an abbreviation. A reading slump is where you simply don't feel like you could read another book and you're struggling to even try. Usually this happens when you read a string of really uninspiring books. We've all felt this before, I'm sure. A mood reader is a person who picks a book based on how they're feeling at that point in time. They're typically not the type of person to have a TBR, to be read list, because even if they tried, they probably wouldn't end up following it. They also likely have a few books on the go at the same time, one for each mood they were in when they picked it up. YA means young adult, a type of book genre or age range of books typically aimed at readers from high school age. A person of any age can read these books though. If you want a more detailed explanation specifically for YA fantasy, I'll leave a link to my YA fantasy video in the description. NA means new adult, a type of book genre or age range of books typically aimed at a reader of college or university age. Again, a person of any age can read these books. An ARC, galley, or uncorrected proof are all terms that indicate an advanced reader's copy of a book. These are typically sent to reviewers or book bloggers before the book is released so that they can prepare reviews. So there we have it, a full list of useless reading jargon. If you didn't know some of this stuff, well now you do, you're welcome. If you learned something new, let me know in the comments, and if you feel like I've missed something off this list, leave that in the comments too. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.